Right. Yes? Okay. All right. Okay, so welcome to this partnership with parents for Year 12 that has to do with their the Futures Department and their journey in terms of their applications and their exploration that they're still doing in many cases, all the way into Year 13. And we're hoping that this way we are going to give you an overall picture of how we will progress over the coming year and over the next year as well, and answer any questions that you might have so that you have a better idea of how we're going to support you and the students. We would like to highlight some things that have to do with the group and one-to-one support, how students need to go about with their application planning and the provision that we make for them, and some key dates that you need to be aware of, as well as highlight the significance of our internship program, particularly for all students, but maybe for some it's even more important than others. And we apologize for moving it to the theatre and changing the time, because this morning's storm kind of threw our plans a little bit into disarray. But hopefully this way everybody can access it, and it will be recorded so that we can share it with everybody afterwards. So I think we'll start with the Futures team at St. Catherine's. So there are 4 of us in the team, myself, Mrs. Dimitriadis, Mrs. Eftimerou, who's our most recent addition, Mrs. Kaloyera, he has been with us for the past 3 years, and Dr. Mignotis, who is not here this morning because she's teaching, but is also a very key member of the team. I think you probably have received several emails from this address, futures@stcatherines.gr, but if you are not aware of it, you can send us messages there. We check it daily, and or you can choose to email each one of us separately. But I think the Futures address works best for an appointment with us. So far, the journey this year for Year 12 has been one of exploration. They have been transitioning from Year 11 into Year 12, into the demands of the IB, and we have tried to provide a lot of opportunities for them to carry on the research that they have been exposed to in Year 11. I think maybe the most important milestone was the University Week that we had in September. It was 3 weeks into the beginning of the semester. And they had the opportunity, as all of our community did, to interact with 80 institutions from the US, from Europe, from the UK, and alumni. In the cases that we couldn't bring in a particular institution, we tried to cover some of the most competitive ones with our own alumni or parent alumni, so that they could share insights and tips with our students. And we feel that a lot of them benefited from that, as did many of the Year 13 students. So since this is an annual thing now, so we hope that every year the current Year 12s will be able again to talk to universities in September, but also not just to wait for the fair, because we've also had a lot of visits this year. I hope you receive all the information for these, but we've had a lot of very prestigious ones as well. This is just a couple of photos from the UCL visit that was a very popular visit with our students. I think over 70 of them signed up to talk to the UCL representative. We've also held assemblies that have been informative, and throughout the year we will be providing evening and online information sessions, particularly after Christmas, when we go into the various applying to the US, to the UK, and so on. I think Mrs. Kaloyera is going to talk about the career decision and planning process and some of the provision.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we are on year 12, which is the most important year for students to make a plan. So by the end of June, our goal is for students to have made a plan, like I'm going to be applying to this university, so they have prepared their long list. They know which countries they want to apply to. They have started thinking about their CVs and essays, and they have a plan with deadlines of when they need to do what tests they will have to do for different universities. So it is important after January to start making and revising their year 12 plan and also plan for next year. And year 13 is the actual part where we implement this part and where they have unlimited access to us. So they can have as many sessions with us. We are available, we are there for them. So, but this year, the important thing is to understand which countries I want to apply to, which universities, what they need from me, tests, preparation, interviews, by when do I need to do what. Okay, so this is our goal for this year. So I started 3 years ago, as Ms. Dimitriadis said, and we keep adding and planning and adding new things. So you'll see that this year we added a year 10 career coaching program to start a little bit earlier with our students. We've expanded and changed again our year 11 program to make it more appealing to students. And you see that the biggest box is year 12. We had a problem fitting in everything. I'm going to go in each one in more detail, but I want to say that in our next slides, but I want to say that we keep adding things. We keep in mind both the admissions process, which is, of course, our first goal, but we're also thinking in the long term. So, for example, we've added last year, we piloted LinkedIn profile writing, which is not necessary for our applications and not all students need it, but it's good for them when they start university next year to have the LinkedIn and start planning. So we're starting to do this and starting to implement and convince them to come to this training. So we need your support on that. We do make some group trainings that they don't come, so we want them to come. We are up to date with everything we do, both myself and all of my team, because I'm responsible with LinkedIn writing and CV writing and personal branding. I update my knowledge every year. I'm part of an American group which is called Career Development Leaders. So I do this course every year. So what we tell to your kids is like, what's what's happening now. So we think it's a good preparation for applications, but also after university when they will be looking for their first internship experience. In year 13, as I said, they have test preparation. We'll go through each one in detail, but the important thing is that they have unlimited access to us. Underneath all this and what supports all this effort that we do is all the stuff we arrange in parallel. So whether it's the university week or whether it is the career week or whether it's something that we actually launched this year. We did a career date speeding, which actually went really well. We had companies coming in and talking to students, and we divided students in small groups, and they went and met the companies, and they really liked it. And the companies really also like it. And they said that some of our year 13 students, they thought that they were better actually than people at university, the amount of understanding they have for the job market. and the way they express themselves was really up there, okay? So we try to add new things, and this helped them not only with exploration, but also getting the language they want to, to say in the application. When they have the chance to practice, tell me about yourself with a real company, or tell me about your future plans. And they get the language to use in these things and how to present themselves. So I think we just have this amazing, complete program that we can help students, okay? It looks great in a paper. Implementation sometimes with kids is challenging, but this is what we aim for, and we really try to do this. Okay, anything to add? No? Okay, so we have targeted support group training. So, and that's because we want to build a common base. So when kids come to one-to-one support, they are prepared, and we don't have to go everything together again. We can really focus and provide one-to-one customized support.
Do you want to say what that one's from?
Yes, that's from our essay writing course last year. And a lot of kids came. We had 2 groups. Ms. Dimitriadis also joined me, and we also divide them into groups. And within 5 hours, I think, 5 hours, I think it was, 5 or 6, they managed, a lot of them, like most of them managed to leave with a rough draft of their common application essay, okay? Some changed it afterwards, some, just kept the same and kept working on it. But this made the start and how we want to work with them. We want more students to come. And one issue with this was that we do it in Easter, and then not a lot of kids, then they get stressed with exams, and not a lot of kids actually finish the process, okay? We started, we had the draft, but then, we had a problem just getting in the other essays, the other drafts. So we're gonna do one also in June. So we're gonna do 2. So we'll try and just find a time where it works with their program, because also that's another challenge, is like with everything they have, it's difficult for us to do things like that. So let's just talk a little bit about the Year 12 Application Success Program. So we create an application success teams group where we announce all the deadlines. We also have resources. So for example, when we did the group interview training for our Year 13 for USA applications, we said, go there, read what's there, and then come to the training. Okay, prepare yourself, and then come to the training. So yes, as I said, updates, deadlines, visits, all of these things go there. And we also we also ask them to send us their CVs, and we chase them. So we add deadlines for all these things, and then we chase them through the system if they haven't done it, okay? So we add them as assignments, as their teachers would do. We do a personal branding for applications assembly, which I really enjoy. And this is where we tell them that we introduce them to personal branding, personal branding about applications. So, for example, in the USA, you will have one person reading your application, and they will be representing you to a group of other admissions tutors. So, what do you want this person to tell them about your application? He will have to describe you in 1 minute. What do you want him to say? Your essays have to make sense as a whole. So, and this is essentially called personal branding. This is what they have to do. The interviewer has to say the same things as you say in your application. So you have to be authentic. You have to have a consistent message. So all these things go in this lecture, and this is how we kick off our group training. Okay, I talked to you about the USA essay writing course. We're planning, we need to confirm the dates, but this is when we plan to do this. We have CV writing courses, and actually last year we did really well. We managed to get most of the CVs by the end of the summer and managed to give feedback, so job done. LinkedIn profile writing didn't go that well last year, didn't have a lot of students doing this, but actually a lot of them opened their profile, they joined the course, but we're gonna tweak it this year and gonna insist a bit more on this. We'll start earlier, so we can help them, but that's something optional, good to have, but not all unis will go and check their LinkedIn profiles. And also there are issues that they shouldn't contact through LinkedIn profile someone from the staff, okay? Until they graduate, and then I actually invite them to link so we can keep in touch. We also have a UCAS personal statement writing course. This year we're also going to do a separate University of California essay writing course because the essays are very different. We talk to them about how to choose their actual programs and create their university list, and that's something we will also be involving you. Also how to support them. We have a session where they log into UCAS Common Application Study Link, and I think that's that. Yeah, they set up their account just to get them in so they see what information they need to do. We offer interview training for USA, and for UK, also a lot of interview training. We'll cover that in a minute. And we also offer admissions test preparation, which we will also cover. We want to invite you to participate in our online spotlights. It is we think that it's also important for you to participate in this process. So we will create a lot of these sessions. This is what we've planned for this year. If you need anything, for example, we do applying to economics and business because it's very popular, and for example, we have less students that are applying for history. If you think that's something missing as an overall information, please let us know and we will add it. And this year we're planning just to create quick guides for applying to architecture, computer science, so quick things for the other programs that are not so popular. So one-to-one support. This is Aspasia. I got her approval to put her there. This is Aspasia coming in the program saying, Miss, I've decided I'm going to apply to X university, early decision, and I'm really happy and relieved, and I just took a picture of her. I hadn't planned that I'm going to show it to you, but you know, it turned out really, really good, and I just want to say that this is why we're here. This is why we do this job. I love working with students one-to-one. I like the transferring my knowledge in the group training, but there's a special thing about working with students one-to-one and with young people on a one-to-one basis, okay? So we see them as partners, we see you as partners, we really want to work with them, and so, you know, we are there, and it's up to them how much they want to use us, okay? And we recognize that some people use us more than others, but you know, when this happens, it's you know, it's amazing for us, amazing feeling.
I think also maybe one-to-one support with parents as well, because we have...
Yes, we also have a meeting with you, which I forgot to mention. We also have a meeting with you in year 12, and you can come in normally with your kid or on your own. We don't really mind, but we prefer if students are also there, and we discuss everything together. So the year 12 individual interview, which I must admit that we have at least one, but with many students in year 12, we have more. We have already students that have come and see us, for example. So we have at least one, but with most students it can be 2 or 3. So it's never just one in year 12. So students complete an online questionnaire where we just get an understanding of where they want to apply. And I don't know, for example, if a student says, I want to apply to 5 countries, then we know to address this in the meeting and say, yeah, it's not possible to apply to 5 countries, okay? Let's make a realistic plan, okay? So we get some information to be prepared, or maybe, you know, somebody wants to apply, I don't know, I think, What would be a country we haven't applied yet? I don't know, somewhere that we haven't applied and we need to prepare, okay? So this is where we get information.
I think last year we applied to 17 different countries. Obviously, the UK and the US are the most popular, but we have a lot of European destinations, and even we had Hong Kong last year. Denmark, we had Finland, Norway we've had. So as the interest in Europe grows, we have to navigate that as well, but we feel that it was successful. They all went where they wanted to in the end. So if they are thinking of countries other than the US or the UK or the Netherlands or favorite universities like IE or Bocconi, we can help them with that, but obviously we need to do our research as well.
Yeah, so, but in a way, the process for us is the same. It's not that it's just learning the process. So we know how to write a CV, write the essays. It's just, just helping a bit with a deadline so we don't miss a deadline. I think, that's what we worry about more, and, and learning when they have to do an interview. Otherwise, the process is the same. Complete application, write essays, upload documents, that's it. Okay, so we meet with the student where they are. So we discuss what's bothering at them at the moment, and trying to get everyone by the end of the year to be at the same stage, have a long list, have started planning, as I said before. And they have unlimited meetings with their assigned counselor, one of us, and unlimited essay review meetings. I had one student where we had 13 personal statements reviews this year. At some point, Dr. Varlo was involved, and then Dr. Varlo was involved again, so it's a process.
Before I talk about the internship program, I just wanted to mention that we said they're assigned counselor. So what we start to do now is we will assign them one of us, and we don't do it because often people ask, how do you assign them? We don't just do it alphabetically, but we use the questionnaire that the students will fill in about where they're interested in applying to as one of the criteria to decide which one of us would match the student best. So we're quite flexible with that, and if a student feels that with a particular counsellor they've got a rapport, for example, I might have taught them history and so I know them well, then I will choose to also be the person who will complete their reference and their recommendation letter. And we all have areas that we are strongest in, so we try and do that. But we are a team. We all work together in the same room, in the same office. We discuss amongst ourselves, so we hope that works well, that we have this flexibility. The internship program that we have for year 12s, and this is the third year that we're going into it, is really amazing in the sense that all the students that we have interviewed this year in year 13 have all said how much they enjoyed doing the week's internship and how useful it was to them. So we're very proud of this because it's been expanded. The first year it had 12 companies. Last year we expanded it with more companies and more opportunities. We also took it down to year 11 as well, and this was partly student-led, but it was a successful day on the job. But for the year 12s in particular, it happens in the first week after school closes, and they all go to, if they've signed up for it, about half of the year sign up for it, because often they have arranged their own internships through family connections, friends, or they might be going off to do a summer school or something else. But for those who do sign up for it, we try and match them with the direction in which they're heading. And it's often something that they can then talk about in their personal statement, or that they could discuss at interview. For example, a medical student, a medical applicant, talking about the experience that they've had when they went to, let's say, Eurokliniki as their internship. That is so useful to them when they're doing interview preparation. So we use companies mostly that come from the St. Cat's community. We're very happy to have that collaboration, that support from the companies. But we've also, through connections that parents at this school have often provided, we've been able to offer other opportunities as well. For example, last year, 2 of our students went to CERN, and they've applied this year to very prestigious universities, and the universities have been very impressed that they had that experience. Or we've used the Capodstriaco University, a connection with a professor there for people applying for history. And generally, it is an opportunity that I think a lot of students benefit from. And if they don't use the St. Cat's internship program, it's really useful to do an internship of some kind. I think it's of great value to them. This was the career speed dating event that Mrs. Kaloyera mentioned before. That was very successful. I think all the IB students really enjoyed it. And then the application journey, I think that probably interests people a lot. Do you want to, Ms. Efthimero?
Well, students need to be aware, of course, about the application process and how it can be different to each country. So, for example, they have to be aware, and of course, they receive guidance from us. For the UK, they have to fill in their UCAS application up to 5 options. In the USA, they need to also be aware what they need to prepare, the personal essay, the supplemental essays, not to all universities, but some universities require that. The CV as well, the counselor reference, and sometimes 2 teacher references. In the Netherlands, they need to register through StudyLink, and they can add up to 4 choices, I think, for universities. And also they need, in most of the universities, a letter of motivation, but not all universities require that. And also a CV. And they have to be aware, and as I said before, of course, they receive guidance from us, that some courses are numerus fixus, so they accept a limited number of students. And also, of course, as my colleagues said before, we have also other European countries. Spain is also a very popular destination, and Italy. So, of course, we check all these university requirements on a case-by-case basis in case something is different. Okay. So, and of course, applying to other universities worldwide, we have also seen an increase in Canada applications. Australia, not so much, but we have some cases. And as Ms. Kaloyera said before, we have Hong Kong application, so this needs to be discussed with much detail from the students, so that we are aware that they have the application, they have filled in the application appropriately. And of course, they need to be aware of the different deadlines in the USA. Because some universities students need to apply as an early decision or early action, which the deadlines differ, so they need to be aware of that. Or some offer like a regular decision in January. So, of course, they have to be aware of the work that they need to do with the application to the USA, because it's very demanding. So they definitely have to plan ahead and don't leave it up to the last minute, so we don't have any disappointments.
Should we say something about
yes.
the predictions there?
Oh, yes, of course.
So I was just going to say that because a lot of students choose to do early decision, 1 or 2, or early action, this decision, it's the same, I suppose, for the UK if they're deciding to apply to Oxbridge or medicine, which means applying before the 15th of October, that this is the decision to do this does, what's the word? It has very much to do with what their prediction is at the time. For the US, the prediction is not as important because they have the transcript from years 10 to 13, but whatever they decide to apply with as a prediction to whichever country, that is the prediction that they will have for all their applications. Otherwise, it will just become completely a mess. So, with the exception of Bocconi, the early round, but also they don't look at the prediction. Yeah, so students have to make this decision every year when they're in year 13, because the first week of October is when they get their prediction. And at that point, they've got to make that decision. Do I think that I can improve this? I can increase it? If I don't apply early, if I don't apply before the 1st of November and keep working in certain subjects, then that might make the difference. So it's better off maybe in applying regular decision, or is it best to apply early because I'm where I want to be at this point? And that is something that doesn't involve us. We're not part of the prediction generation. It's the IB coordinator's decision and a result of the discussion with her.
Okay, good. So, and of course, one last thing, but very important, is that they have to prepare for the SATs. Not all universities in the US require SATs, they're SAT optional, but we have seen that other universities, European universities, require SATs as well. Bocconi, IE, which of course you are all aware of, ESADE, and Stockholm School of Economics. Of course, we are going to discuss about the preparation they do in terms of the SATs. And these are some, of course, this is not an exhaustive list because the destinations are so many, but we have tried to compile the most popular ones. So for UCAS, the early application is on October 15th. And of course, the regular deadline, the equal consideration deadline, is on the January 14th. For the USA, as we mentioned before, it has early decision and early action on November 1st, regular decision on January 1st. So for Canada, Netherlands, and of course other European universities, Ireland, Denmark, France. So of course they receive, as I said before, guidance from us in terms of the deadlines, because sometimes through their website they got confused with all these deadlines. In the beginning, my colleague, Ms. Calogera, mentioned about the eternal deadlines that we set to our students, because this is very crucial for them to be focused and to know that they have to submit the first draft, for example, of their CV on the 23rd of June. Because if they have a clear schedule, it is easier for them, and it doesn't create more anxiety, because all the application process, of course, provokes anxiety always. And last week of June, they set up their UCAS application and they start filling it in. So this is just an overview about a very useful tool. You all must be aware of Unifrog. We suggest to the students to have an overview of all the tools that they can use through Unifrog. They can explore universities, they can see the entry requirements for each course. They can also read very important articles. They even have some templates for personal statements, so it's a very useful tool. And admissions tests are very important, and many universities have launched new admissions tests because they are becoming more and more competitive. So, of course, we support our students and we provide them with information about each admissions test. So, for example, they need to be aware, because sometimes they say, I want to apply for medicine, and they're not aware that they need actually to sit for an admissions test. So for medicine, for law, engineering, and economics are the most are the courses that require admissions test.
Can we make clear that
Yes.
we don't prepare the student? Because there are so many admissions tests, and you know that needs somebody with specialist knowledge. We don't prepare them for the tests ourselves, but we have providers or suggestions of people that of groups and websites that do.
Yes, so here you can see some providers, and the students can prepare through this for the SATs. We have Mr. Dimitrakopoulos, which of course students can also make the preparation externally, but we are hosting the preparation center here at school because it's easier for the students too. And for the TMUA, ESAT, and we have Mr. Gavras, preparation. Of course, students are free to use the preparation center of their choice. We just have to make some suggestions in order to support them. And of course, we have Oxford applications for UCAT and Medic portal as well for medicine. Interview preparation with the help of staff many times. Now we have many interviews in the year 13, so we have alumni to support them, and of course external organizations. And one key point is that some university requirements can differ. They need to be aware that, for example, it might be different if they want to apply for engineering in the UK, but in the Netherlands, universities might request some other subjects as their higher level, or particular courses like chemical engineering. There are universities in the Netherlands that they might even require a higher level biology, for example, the University of Twente, for example. So law programs value higher level English and essay-based subjects. So, of course, as we said before, this is not an exhaustive list because the requirements are a lot, so they just need to be aware of the different requirements per country. Okay? And do you want to say something about that? Or?
I think we've just added that so that people know what a transcript looks like. It is one page which has all their grades from their reports in year from 10 to 13, and it gives the university admissions people a holistic impression of a student. If there's like one grade maybe that is not as brilliant as a student would like it to be, it's not so much of an issue because you can see if there's been an upward trend in their grades and overall what the picture is. It depends on the grade and it depends on the subject, but that is what a transcript looks like. And apart from the UK, all of the other applications require a transcript. So, you know, whether they're applying to the US or they're applying to Italy or Spain or Europe, they will need one of these transcripts. So I just thought it was interesting to know what it looks like.
Can we just say some common pitfalls and we can share, okay? Because so a lot of our students try to apply to many different countries and they get overwhelmed. And then so we try to tell them just to focus your effort. You cannot do SATs and do IMAT and, you know, so just try to just make a realistic plan. The IB is very demanding, so we don't want to add a lot of pressure to them. And also it differs between kids. So we do try, you know, people say, I will take the SAT, I don't know, in August, and then I will take my IMAT, but of course we know that real life doesn't work this way because you have to retake the SAT. So we do try to encourage students not to apply to too many countries. It gets more difficult, or to too many applications. We have some students that apply to like 14 applications in the US, or we don't want that. We want students to get good advice. We don't want them to write 17 supplemental, not even 17, it can be like 30 supplemental essays. So I guess that's common pitfall. Yeah, and the other thing, and sometimes we might suggest another country. So I had a student that I suggested to them to apply to another country as a safety, but you know, that's the maximum. And I, yeah, a country like, so we would say, okay, apply to Canada, it's easier. You know, apply to Ireland, it will not take you that much of an effort. And I guess the other thing is leaving everything the last minute, because the IB is very demanding, especially for students that apply to the USA or countries that need a lot of essays. They need to start early, and if they leave from school and they haven't, for example, done their first essay in the USA, then they'll have to do it during the summer. But the best thing is to write your first essay here at school, know what you need to do, and then write all your essays in the summer, come back so we can have a look. Because if they just don't take advantage of the summer, then it's really difficult. And we have a lot of students that leave their USA essays the last minute, which is a problem.
I think that that's the overview that we wanted to give. The admissions test. Yeah. Yeah, the other thing was the admissions test, that actually they need quite a bit of time with the admissions test. Sometimes students can be a little bit blasé about this. Oh, the ESAT, I'm just going to prepare in 2 weeks. And these tests are really quite hard often. It's done on purpose if they're applying to Oxbridge. The whole idea is to make it difficult, and then the university can pick the ones who do best. So that needs time as well to be allocated. But I think that was the overview that we wanted to give, just so that it was a good starting point, we hope, because then we'll go into each country in separate sessions. So depending on what country your child is applying to, then we can tailor it more, or you will hear more information on that particular country. This was the sort of overview so that you know how we move ahead. And looking out for the questionnaire that will help us allocate a counsellor to your child, and also that we will be getting in touch to have a meeting with you as well. I think that was something we did last year for the first time, to actually target each of the parents, and it was really helpful for all of us, parents and us as well, to all be on the same page. So if we have any questions, we're happy to answer them. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Not different tables, you mean? Yes. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. All the sessions that we do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's a good idea. At least we can put our things on, because sometimes, you know, visits from universities, the other, you know, they crop up. Yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll do that, I think. Yes. Yeah. Okay. We did an assembly with them last week. So we've done more or less the same things that we talked here with you today. We did it with all of year 12 so that they know. Before that, we're giving them basically, you know, the opportunity to go to the visits, to do the exploration part while they're getting used to the IB. But now that we're moving towards well, I'm not saying the end yet, but we're still, a lot of the year 13 applications are out of the way. Now the focus turns to the year 12s and the year 11s. So we will be contacting her to meet with us, particularly after Christmas. So we try that they don't miss any lessons. So we will arrange. Do you mean the sessions that we do, like workshops? Yeah. So they're either in the lunch breaks, or they might be right after school, or on a Saturday, like the one that Miss Kaloyera was talking about. We did it on a Saturday morning because we needed several hours. Yeah. Yes. So she will get a transcript from us for the years that she did here, but she needs to request, maybe you've got it already, a transcript from her old school. So sometimes when students come in, they might bring it with them as part of the moving from school to school. But if she hasn't, yeah, we need to. She should ask for it even now, so that she's got it before she starts applying. And it helps us as well to see where she was before when we're giving her advice. Exactly. Yeah. But the universities, because we've had cases like that where they show us the certificates from GCSE, but we can't, if we don't have it in a transcript, the university won't accept it as a scan of their GCSE. It needs to be in transcript form. Okay, have we covered everybody? Thank you very, very much for coming in the rain. We're very grateful to you.
Have a safe journey.
And we will be sending you the PowerPoint and a calendar.